these are in two parts. There's an actual transcript, and then there's a summary of the record.
Could you explain that one-off scenario?
Trying to figure out how to go live on Instagram, so give me just 1 second, guys. Somebody can tell me if they're getting my sound coming through, that would be appreciated. Could I get a little bit of assistance here? Because I can't understand how to put this thing on. Try that comes up. Okay, thank you. All right, guys, I apologize. I literally just got off a plane, not even probably 20 minutes ago, 25 minutes ago, and rushed here to be able to get on live with you guys. So somebody just let me know if the sound is coming through. I would appreciate it. Maybe you can go to advancedmedicine.com and just see what the comments are coming in. I'd appreciate that. It's an important broadcast today. I just got back from Los Angeles. It's been absolutely crazy what we saw there. And some of you may have actually seen the broadcast that I did from Los Angeles, from Ventura County. And I've already had a lot of people asking what I was doing there. I will let you guys discover that here shortly. It's going to come down the pipeline anyway. Excellent. So I just got notification that you guys can hear me, so that's good. And what I'm going to be doing is I want to cover a couple of things. While I was in the plane, I made a list of things that I wanted to cover today. And these are things that I believe are important to bring up. They are things that have been recurrent in the sense that people ask these questions. And a lot of these things I have not bothered talking about because I don't think that they're really pertinent to the message. They're not really relevant to the situation at hand, but because they're coming up so much, I am going to go ahead and discuss some of those things now. All right. So let's start off with some of the posts that have been coming down the pipeline, and I will go into more detail about this because I'm going to actually respond directly to some of the mainstream media's attacks on a couple of different people, including myself, and the literal misinformation, the blatant lies that the media prints. And they get away with it because they invoke the First Amendment. And so they're using the First Amendment for freedom of speech so that they can say anything that they want, and they're not being held liable. It's a tremendous amount of money to then file a lawsuit against them. But when it comes to censorship, they have no issues, right? Censorship, they can censor us for anything. They can take us off the platforms. They don't present a balanced opinion. So what I've been saying now to the various media channels, mainstream media channels that have reached out to me, is I put them on notice. I say, this is my statement. Let's see how much journalistic integrity you have and whether you're going to actually say what I've said or whether you're going to just make up some crap. So just as an example, I'm not going to go in point for point today. I'll probably do that next week because, again, I just got off a plane. I have to have the actual documents. Oops, what happened here? Oops, there we go. I actually have to have the documents that I would like to read to you guys so that you guys can actually know what was said and which media channel actually said it. And so I will get that all together in the very near future, probably next week's broadcast. and then we'll put that out, okay? Interesting how Murphy's Law plays its little role. All right, so let's talk a little bit about what some of these things were, and I'm not going to, like I said, I'm not going to go into specifics just because I didn't have enough time to pull up the actual articles, but I'm just going to talk in generalities. So I was shown a image that had Dr. Erickson and his partner, had Dr. Mikowitz, and had me in there. And so they said that Dr. Erickson and his partner, I apologize, I forgot his name, but they said that they were already debunked and they've been attacked by mainstream doctors and other doctors saying that those numbers aren't accurate. First of all, that's a lie. Nobody's attacked them from the medical community. If anything, they've gotten accolades for speaking the truth. All right, the people that have attacked them have been paid trolls that are either posing as doctors or some of the doctors that are getting paid to promote this misinformation. So just in case you guys don't know this, the states that are making this into a nasty, nasty, ugly thing that so many people are dying, they are misrepresenting the numbers. We've already shown that over and over again. Media has been caught lying. CBS has been caught lying, making the same footage from one hospital and imposing it on other hospitals, actually taking their mobile units and having either paid actors or having actual hospital staff instructing them to make it look like it's busy. A total charade, nothing factual about it. But I want you to understand, California and New York are the two biggest hospital systems, the two biggest states where this has supposedly been hit. And I can tell you, just coming back from California, just literally landing, like I said, about half an hour, 45 minutes ago, the insanity of what's going on over there. But I want you, the public, to recognize these numbers. Did you know that right now, every time a person is put on a respirator, remember, it doesn't matter whether they need it or not, every time they get put on a respirator, that state gets $39,000 in remuneration from the federal government. Every time somebody has a COVID-19 diagnosis, the hospital in that state gets another $17,000. So they're in this big competition to try to make more money for their states, and that's why they're doing it. That's why the numbers are being inflated. That's one reason that a personal friend of mine, his close friend's son, 17-year-old, committed suicide about a week ago. I think I mentioned that on one of the other live streams. And his cause of death, even though he killed himself, his cause of death was listed as COVID-19. And you know the memes. The memes are already, you fall out of a plane without a parachute, you die. You died of COVID-19. You get shot in the head, you died of COVID-19. You had a heart attack, you died in a motor vehicle accident, you tripped down the steps and hit your head and died, you died of COVID-19. These are memes, but this is literally happening, okay? Hospitals are incentivizing or going back behind the person who signed the death certificate and changing those documents to show more numbers of people that are dying from COVID-19. Already, Italy came out with 96.1% showing comorbidity. These people had significant other pathologies. They did not die of COVID-19. Remember, there's a difference of dying with COVID-19 and from COVID-19. And again, we know that some of the studies that have been out there that have showed that in the cat model, I've brought this up before, it was in part 3 and on part 5 of the COVID-19 conspiracy question mark videos. Remember that in the cat study, they showed that even though these cats had never been exposed to COVID-19, they were positive for COVID-19. This was a study done in 2018. There are other older studies that go all the way back to 1984 that show the same thing. So the question is, how did they have these positives? And they call it a false positive. A false positive means that the test was positive, but it's not real, okay? And they call it a false positive, saying, well, it's a false positive, but it's not real. Well, here's the thing. It is real because it tested positive, but to call it false positive, it's kind of like when you call side effects from a drug, from a pharmaceutical. They're not side effects, they're direct effects. But we called them and labeled them as side effects because they're not desired, all right? So it's a convenient way of saying, oh, well, that's a side effect. No, it's a direct effect from taking that drug, but because it's not desired, we call it a side effect. So the point being, again, my question very simply is this. How many people that have died from COVID-19, real COVID-19, not the inflated numbers, how many of those people actually had a history of an adult vaccination in the last 5, 10, 15 years? Whether that be H1N1 vaccine, whether it be any flu shot vaccine, covalent, trivalent, any flu shot vaccine, herpes zoster vaccine, the shingles vaccine, or any other type of adult vaccine. That's what I want to know. We know that there are things that are popping up that they're finding now in these vaccines, right? Like glyphosate. the weed killer, glyphosate. What Roundup? That's the generic name for glyphosate is Roundup. What is Roundup, glyphosate, doing in vaccines? That's my question, and it is in vaccines. So how many other things are there now that are in vaccines that we didn't know about? We didn't know what to test for because we don't know what we don't know, right? So how many other unknown substances are in these vaccines that we've been getting for the last 10, 15 years? That's the question you should be asking. So again, hospitals are being remunerated and states are getting money for every time they diagnose a patient with COVID-19 and every time they put put an individual on a respirator, regardless of whether the person needed to be on the respirator or not. If somebody's getting close to dying, they just put them on a respirator, or they just put people on respirators anyway. And we know about all the different nurses and doctors that have come out and talking about the mismanagement of these people, some even using the word murdered, that these people are being murdered, and there's nobody there to be their advocate. Family members aren't being allowed to go back into the main intensive care unit or into wherever the protective COVID wing is. So they're not allowing other people to come in there. And there's nobody there to advocate for them. And then these nurses and doctors have talked about how these people are being mismanaged, whether it's intentional or through negligence or just incompetence. And we all know the level of incompetence in medicine, all right? There have been 3 times in history where doctors have gone on strike. I can tell you 2 specific ones. One was in Israel, one was in California. I don't remember the exact incidence of the third one. But on all 3 examples, when doctors went on strikes, the death rate you would think would rise because there's no doctors working, but the death rate actually dropped. And when the doctors came back to work, when they went off strike, guess what? Death rates went back up. We also know that published data, as collected by Johns Hopkins University, as published in the Journal of the American Medical Association back almost 15 years ago, maybe 16 years ago, 2004, 2005 timeframe, showed that the 3rd leading cause of death in North America, first being cancer, second being heart disease, and that's flipped now, but the 3rd one was iatrogenic death. That is doctor-induced, hospital-induced, medical system-induced deaths. So we are, this. I'm not embellishing here. This is just data that's been published. All right, so let's just talk on some generalities. Next week, I will go into some specifics, what the media has said, and I will read my statements and what they actually put out. So you can see this, all right? Because our numbers, even though they're shadow banning, even though they're unsubscribing people, our subscribers are gaining traction from all over the world. They're being videos are being translated into other languages, et cetera, et cetera. So we know that the BuzzFeeds and the Huffington Post and all these, you can't call them journalists, or you can't call them news, because it's all fake stuff. They're blatantly lying in there. So I'll just give you an example. One of these things that was put out said that I was an unlicensed doctor. So they talked about Dr. Erickson and his partner. They talked about Dr. Mikowitz. They talked about me. And basically they said that I was an unlicensed doctor, that I'd lost my license. So they're either illiterate or they just don't know they don't understand the English language. So you can go to the North Carolina Medical Board, go to North Carolina Medical Board, just Google it, North Carolina Medical Board, and Google that engine and put in my last name, and you can see, yes, I've had reprimands. Yes, I've fought the medical board. I've been fighting them since 1999. And the claim that I don't have a license to practice, or that I have a restricted license to practice, is completely a blatant lie. So go and look yourself, and you'll see that since I got licensed, since I've been licensed to practice medicine for a quarter of a century, I have never had my license, even for 1 second, that I did not have an unrestricted license to practice. I've always gone all the way. I've never just dealt with the medical board and agreed to whatever they said. I've always fought them. I've always gone to court, whatever level of court we needed to go to, I've always done. And they know that I'm willing to go all the way to the Supreme Court. So the bottom line is the medical board, you can go and research and look at it yourself, and you can read it. Now, one of the articles, I think it was BuzzFeed, talked about FDA warning letter and my reprimand from the North Carolina Medical Board. So my response was very simple. I said that since I got out of the military, I have been on the cutting edge of medicine. All right? My history speaks for itself. And the regulatory bodies, they perform an important job by making sure the doctors don't push the edge too close to the edge so they don't go off the cliff. So that's their job. Now, some people would say that the reason the North Carolina Medical Board started coming after me was after a public threat that if I testified against them, because we testified and we were able to reform the North Carolina Medical Practice Act in 2002, and it became the first, and it's actually, it was, the North Carolina Medical Practice Act was redone and introduced into the House, passed the Senate, and was signed into law by the governor, and to this date still is the fastest law to have been ever introduced into the North Carolina legislature since the inception of the state of North Carolina, 250 years ago, whatever it was. It's the fastest law to have gone through the House, passed, go through the Senate, passed, and signed into a law by the governor in the history of the state of North Carolina. It was the North Carolina Medical Practice Act revision that I spearheaded along with some of the doctors when I was the president of the North Carolina Integrative Medical Society. I was warned that if I testified against the North Carolina Medical Board, it would make my life in North Carolina as a practicing physician very difficult. So some people would say that was the retaliation of the North Carolina Medical Board, and that's why those reprimands. Now, they were trying to take my license, all right, under all sorts of garbage. And maybe next week or maybe the week afterwards, I'll tell you specifics about the case. If you're really interested, just let me know. Go to AskDrButtar.com and you can put that question. If you really want to know, there are some websites that talk about it. But that's the level of the lies that the idiots out there, the trolls out there, the media out there, those that are promoting fake news out there will say. Now, with the FDA, yes, I did get a warning letter from the FDA. Now, again, the regulatory bodies have a job to make sure that they regulate things, right? Absolutely. Now, some people would say that the reason that the FDA tried to create a problem for me was because it was in retaliation for when I testified before the U.S. Congressional Subcommittee on Human Rights and Wellness, and there was specific discussion about the incompetence of the FDA. So is that possible? It probably is, but I don't know. I'm not going to say whether that was their motivation or not. I will tell you that both the medical board and the FDA perform important jobs. They're necessary in order to protect the public, and there's no doubt about that. And so I support that. And if they want to come after me, that's fine. I will fight them because we have nothing to hide. And if anything, we have set the precedence. We have patients now from 93 countries. And again, my track record speaks for itself. So to those mental midgets out there that want to attack me because I got a warning letter from the FDA or because I fought the medical board, that's right there. The last thing that somebody said was about a fraud case. Yes, that was true. Somebody filed a fraud case against me. A person that I had discharged from my practice who had prostate cancer, who on his own website wrote that Dr. Buttar has helped me in 9 days more than all my other doctors collectively in the last 10 years. Fast forward a few years later, after we discharged him from the practice because he kept on taking out his IVs, he just wanted the nurses to touch him. He had some type of emotional immaturity, some type of a fetish or something, and after we warned him a couple times, we then went ahead and discharged him from the practice. But his cancer was not an issue anymore. He was then contacted by the person who's been already in federal court discredited, which is Baratz and the guy that runs Quackbusters, and he contacted the medical board, and they got with this guy and filed a case against us, a fraud case. And well, first they tried to file some other kind of case. We countersued, and when we went to court, they were begging and pleading to let it all go, and they would just drop the case. So that's the extent of the fraud case, supposedly, that again, mental midgets that cannot read, that just want to create lies and propose that that's the truth. So if you really are curious, go and read the stuff so you can really see what the truth is, rather than what these idiots, and they literally are idiots. Because here's the thing, 98 to 99% of the people that are commenting on our videos and the information that's being put out are not just positive, they are so amazingly empowering, and they're praying and for me and for my family and for my staff, and I really appreciate that. But then there's some people that are out there, less than 1%, that are literal trolls. Now here's the thing, how many of you would follow somebody that you don't agree with, right? I don't follow anybody. I don't have time to follow somebody I don't agree with. But these people are following because they're trying to create a problem. They're trying to discredit me, and that's fine. They can do whatever they want because the truth will sustain itself. And I can see by our numbers, by your comments, 7,000, 8,000 comments, 20 to 30,000, 35,000 thumbs up with maybe 300 or 200 thumbs down. So I appreciate that, but this is for those trolls that are either being paid to come and try to discredit me and Dr. Mikowitz and some of these other people, or the ones that actually have an agenda to try to create what we call counterintelligence. They come in and they try to rev up discontent among certain people and then try to get them to create problems where no problems exist. So I wanted an opportunity to be able to tell you this stuff, and we'll go into some specifics if you guys have an interest in it. Again, it doesn't really serve our purpose, and I haven't even addressed it before because, again, it's not important, because the truth will be known and it will sustain itself, as my father always said. But I just thought it might be good because a couple of people have asked that question, maybe a couple of dozen people, and these are sincere people. These are good people that saying, Dr. Pitar, I don't know how to answer this because I showed this to my husband or my wife, and they said, well, this is what they pulled up this article, this video that somebody said something, and they've got maybe 50 views, 100 views or whatever, but they found this other counterpoint and they didn't know how to respond to it. So that's for you guys. I'm not saying anything to defend myself. I don't need to defend myself, but I'm saying it for those of you that have asked me to inform you or to answer those questions. I did it for you, so that you are not in that situation that you have to try to explain or defend me. And I appreciate you guys defending me, but I don't want you to have to defend me. So I've just put this out, and anybody who attacks me on my quality of medicine or what we've done in medicine, simply, guys, they're compromising their own integrity, okay? They're going to show themselves to be liars, because the truth is what the patient said, what the results have been. So let them say whatever, because it proves that they're liars. When somebody says, well, Dr. Pitar can't practice medicine, or he can't see cancer patients, or he can't see kids, they're just compromising their own integrity. They're proving that they're liars, because anybody can pick up a computer, a laptop, a smartphone, Google North Carolina Medical Board, and you can see that there's no restriction on my license. There's never been a restriction on my license. And anybody who says that, they're liars, or they just simply don't know how to read. Or most likely, they're being paid to create false statements. All right? So enough of that. Now, and by the way, I'll just tell you that if you follow BuzzFeed and if you follow Huffington Post, two highly, highly criminal organizations. Yes, I said criminal organizations, because only a criminal will go out and lie to get an agenda passed and misinform people that results in actual deaths. And that's what's happening. People are dying. They're not going to the hospital because they think that the hospitals are overrun when they are not. That is a direct result of the false information the media is promoting. All right? People are not going to the hospital because they're afraid they're going to get COVID-19, so they're dying at home. That's, again, a direct result from the media's misinformation. And here's what I was told just recently, that my numbers, the number of people that are watching our videos, are crushing mainstream media's own numbers. MSNBC, CNN, ABC, CBS. Now, I don't even know how to interpret that, but this is what other people that have large followings are telling me after they've gone in and looked at the analytics and told me that we're crushing their numbers. So now I can tell you the truth, and you can look at them for yourself, and you can see how little factual information these people are putting out there, mainstream media. All right. Now, I will give you the names of these people that have written these articles, and then you can demand from their agencies where they work, like Huffington Post, like BuzzFeed, like whatever other journals they are. You can demand their resignation. You can demand they be reprimanded. I'll get those names, and we'll put that out next week. So you can yourself, they can get 30,000 or 300,000 names of people that are emailing them and telling them that they should be held accountable for lies. We'll do that. We'll activate that if you guys want to do that. I'll put it out there, and you guys decide what you want to do with it, okay? Now, I personally think that they should be forced to resign. If you're a journalist and you knowingly lie, okay, I think they should be held criminally responsible. You cannot invoke the First Amendment by lying to somebody, trying to hurt their reputation, trying to create discourse, and more importantly than anything else, resulting in people getting hurt or dying because of the misinformation they're putting out there. All right? Look at the number of people that are depressed, that have committed suicide. Literally, this friend of mine, his friend's son that committed suicide, they put down COVID-19 as a cause of death, and he killed himself. That's the third person that I know of that have contacted me where a family member committed suicide because they've been depressed in the last 2 months that has been attributed to COVID-19. Does the media report that? So you know the corruptness of the media. All right. Now, I have a couple of announcements that are important from an empowerment standpoint. All right. There are 5 things that you guys can do. Now, if you have already gone to askdrbuttar.com/ask, and you've gone in and submitted your information, and because you want to participate, you want to get involved, you want to know how you can help, and you've already downloaded the videos, the ones that were censored by YouTube and Facebook, the COVID-19 conspiracy part 3, 4, and 5, then you have already gone through this process. You don't have to go through that process again. But I have some specific things that you guys can all do, and this is really huge. So first of all, some of you may have heard just recently in Pennsylvania, there have been some sheriffs that have stood up and said they are not going to be writing citations for citizens for simply leaving their houses or to open up their businesses. They refuse to do that. There was a sheriff in California that recently came out and did this. We covered the two sheriffs last week from Arizona that stood up. There was a sheriff in Massachusetts. So to these sheriffs and to anybody else that I haven't covered yet, those sheriffs, I applaud you, I salute you, and I thank you for taking your obligation as law enforcement seriously and upholding the rights of those that don't have a voice or those that are being oppressed. And for those police officers and sheriffs out there that are not aware of this or have not invoked their obligations and remembered their oaths to stand up for those that are underserved and stand up for those that don't have a voice, I challenge you to look into your heart and understand and recognize what your role is supposed to be, that it is illegal for you to follow an illegal order. It is unethical for you. And if you're military, remember, same type of thing, except it's a war crime if you follow an illegal order. But don't take off your uniforms. A lot of people have said, I'm going to take off my uniforms. I'm not going to partake in law enforcement anymore, military. No, that's not what this is about. I want you to keep that uniform on, and I want you to honor that uniform and do exactly what you know is the right thing to do, and help educate your friends in the armed services and in law enforcement and let them know what the truth is. So when you go to this site that I'm talking about, askdrbuttar.com, you remember /ask. Remember that there is a place for you to answer all these things. And if you're a physician and you want to get involved, you're an attorney that you want to get involved, you want to know how you can help. If you have any specific skill set or any specific type of knowledge, you want to be able to contribute, please do so. If you're in computers, if you're in streaming, if you're in media, true media, like journalistic integrity type people, please notify us in that form as you fill that out, okay? Please do not send money. People have sent money. I don't need money. I don't want your money. That is not what we want. We don't even know what to do with the money. We're sending it back, okay? And some people said, well, don't make a donation in my name. And so we've done that with Dell Big Trees organization, but don't send us money. We need resources, skills, elbow grease. We need passion. We need your energy. That's what we need, okay? So go to askdrbuttar.com /ask if you have never downloaded those videos and you've never watched them. Fill in the information, and then these next 5 sequences of events that I'm going to tell you, this is what I need you to do. First, censorship is a major issue. I wish I could tell you something that happened this weekend, but I can't. It's not that I've been told I can't. It's just I've decided not to because I don't think it's appropriate. People will get very, very excited. It's really awesome news, but I'm not going to say anything more than that except that that it's all good. That's all I'll say, okay? When it becomes more widely known and when the first thing happens that has already been initiated, then I'll let you guys know. But it's all good. However, we would like for the President of the United States, for President Trump, to be able to sign an executive order to basically outlaw censorship. Nobody can attack President Trump for this. Whether you're pro-Trump or anti-Trump, that's a fair assessment. Nobody should be censored from being able to put out any information. You can't censor a black person for putting out information because they're black. You can't censor a Jew or a Muslim or a Christian for putting out their belief system because of their religion. You can't prevent a woman from making her statement because she's a woman. That's illegal. That's that's violating their civil rights. Well, why are we then allowing people, scientists or doctors or anybody else from voicing their opinion about certain technology or about this COVID-19? It's the same situation. That should be illegal. You cannot do that. And President Trump, I hope if you're hearing this, that you sign an executive order to prevent any type of censorship, to outlaw censorship. Because once that's done, then everything comes on an even playing field, right? Then the media can't go around censoring us. Social media platforms can't censor us, and we can talk openly. They can't shadow ban us. They can't do this stuff. That is breaking the law, and that it will be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law. I hope that the president hears this, and that would be an amazing way for us to be able to get our voice out, and it's an even playing field. So that's the first thing. There's a censorship petition. If you go to I'll give you guys the links. There's two different links, and so hold up on the links itself. The one is going to be askdrbuttar.com/ask if you've never been there before. And if you've already filled out the form, then do askdrbuttar.com/join and update it. But regardless of which way you do it, there's a reason that there's two different links. But the very first thing after you submit your information will be a petition, and that's a petition for censorship. All right? You can read that petition. It takes just a couple of seconds to fill it out. The goal is we need 100,000 signatures in order for the White House to respond to us, to make sure that we get a White House response. But guys, I'm not interested in 100,000 signatures. I want 1 million signatures in 30 days. All right? We just did it 2 days ago or 3 days ago. I don't remember the exact day that it was launched. I think we've already got 20,000 signatures. So I want 1 million signatures. I need you to activate and let everybody know. You can send them directly to that link, or you can send them to this askdrbuttar.com/ask. They'll submit their information if they want to partake in anything. But when they get to the landing page, the very first thing is censorship. Now there's 3 videos right above that petition that you can that you can watch, and you understand why this censorship issue is so important. All right? These 3 little videos, they're all short, 3 to 7 minutes long. It'll explain to you why censorship is the biggest problem. I believe that right now, if there was no censorship, and if the mainstream media had been held accountable criminally and financially responsible for their misinformation that they've been perpetrating, we wouldn't be in this situation right now with COVID-19, because the truth would have been out there. But they're preventing people from knowing the truth. So that's why censorship is so important. Watch those 3 short videos and click on that link and fill in that petition. That's the first call to action. Your second call to action, as you scroll down to the next thing, is there's 3 more videos, and it's showing you what's actually happening. A mother being ripped apart from her child for doing what? Simply wearing a sign, peacefully protesting in Australia, and the police that came in and ripped the child away from her. It is extremely disturbing, extremely. There's another video showing other women that were being arrested for what? For peacefully protesting. I want you to see these things so you understand what's going on and you get the real message. So this next thing is, this next component after the censorship petition, the second component is signing this letter. All you gotta do is type in your name, email, and you'll put in your zip code, and it will automatically find your elected officials on the municipal level, on the local level, as well as in the state level, as well as on the federal government level. And you can copy and paste that letter. You can add stuff to it. You don't have to know who they are. You don't have to know anything else. Just by putting in your name, email, address, and then the zip code, it'll automatically pull this up. And we've got it all set up for the US. Our plan is to actually have that also set up for the UK, for Australia, and for Canada in the very, very near future. We're working on that right now. But you can go there. That's your second call to action. Fill in that information, and again, pass these links on. If you've already filled that submit form and you've already created your account on the dashboard, then just go to askdrbuttar.com/join. If you haven't gone and created your free dashboard and downloaded the videos, then just go to askdrbuttar.com/ask. In other words, if you've already created your dashboard, go to askdrbuttar.com/join. By doing so, you'll just update your information. If it's got your information there, if you've already answered those questions, you don't have to answer them. You know, if you left off your phone number, if you left off certain things, you want to answer those things now, go ahead and do it. It'll just update everything. But then continue forward and go to your dashboard. Now, the first call to action, again, remember, was censorship. Second call to action was notifying your elected officials, putting them on notice that you do not consent. You do not consent to having your children removed from you. You do not consent to them manhandling you, to take away your rights, to your civil rights, to ignore your autonomy. You do not consent. You're notifying them, putting them on notice. There's a reason for that. And I will be putting out a video with one of my friends, Josh Del Sol, and we'll explain why this is so important. It's going to be great. Hopefully by the end of this week, we'll put that video out. Your third call to action, all right? Create your dashboard, your free advanced medicine dashboard. This is going to be a landing page that you get to, and you'll see all these things just in sequence. Now, what does that dashboard do? It allows you to get access to all the videos that were censored. All right, this is the COVID-19 conspiracy question mark videos. They are downloadable. Now, when you get there, you may see part 6, but it may say episode 1 or 2, something like that. Guys, that's the thumbnail is the wrong thumbnail. We're going to replace that out. But so you know, when you download it, it's all of part 6, and then we'll have part 7 coming there. I want you to, if you haven't watched those videos, watch those videos, because when you watch them, you will become empowered with the information. You now know what the truth is, and once you're empowered, nobody can take advantage of you. You cannot be victimized. If you have already watched them, make sure you download them, because they can censor them from YouTube or Facebook or wherever else, but they can't pull them off your smartphone device. They can't pull them off your computer, off your iPad. So download them and send them to your friends and family, edit them, do whatever you want with them, and make your own versions. So many people have done such a beautiful job with taking some of that information. I'm just so thankful to people having reposted some of that stuff, edited, whatever they've done. Guys, this is not about my information, your information. This is about the truth, and the truth needs to get out there. All right? The third thing is invite others to do the same. All right? Now, if you've already created your dashboard, because if you haven't created your dashboard, make sure you go to askdrbuttar.com/ask. You can see the image right underneath me right now, the text. If you haven't created your free dashboard, you need to go that route, because you need an invitation code to get in. And just follow that link and you will get the invitation code. However, if you have already created your dashboard, then you will have noticed that on the upper right-hand corner of your dashboard, your free dashboard that gives you access to the head map, that gives you access to videos, that gives you, all this stuff is free, there's no cost to it, that gives you access to the COVID-19 conspiracy videos and allows you to download them. You will also notice right above on the right-hand side, underneath your name, is a 5 or 6 digit number in yellow. That's your invitation code. So simply tell people to go to askdrbuttar.com/join. Not ask, but join. askdrbuttar.com/join and give them your invitation code, because when they get to that window, they will need that invitation code. Use your invitation code to invite people. All right? Very important. You'll understand why later on. But it's so that we know who is making an effort to help spread the word, so that we can now identify the leaders. That's why that's so important. So use your invitation code. Everybody, when you create your free account, you automatically get generated your own invitation code. Write that number down. That is your number. All right? If you forget how to log into your dashboard, guys, don't try to create a new account. Please don't do that. Just go in there, click forgot password, and you'll get an email. And if you don't get the email, then check your spam folder, because the email will have come there for you to reset your password. Also, if you are new coming in and you register, you go to askdrbuttar.com/ask. Please check your email spam to make sure that no emails went there. We're not setting it up so that you have to respond to an email to get this information. But check your emails, because you may end up getting notices or emails from me, but they're going to spam. So just make sure you whitelist it so that you're getting information from us, so you're able to get information from us. And guys, if you don't want the information, then just unsubscribe. That's fine. It doesn't make any difference to me. I'm not interested in those people that are worried about getting too many emails. I'm only interested in people that want to partake in this movement and make the difference the world's waiting for, to make the change the world's waiting for. That's what we're doing. So I'm mostly interested in attorneys, in doctors, and people that have served previously or are currently serving in the military or in law enforcement. And then anybody else that has a special skill set that wants to help, please fill in that form. That way we know who you are and how we can get you involved with helping. There's a lot of help that's needed, and we're making a lot of traction. We've got a lot of traction, but we need more help. All right? So please do that, and look out, because I'm going to be sending out an email tonight. If you're law enforcement and military, and if you're police, law enforcement and military, retired or active duty, if you're a doctor or if you're an attorney, you will be getting an email in the next 24 hours from me. All right, it's going to be a personal email, and I'm going to have a call to action where we're going to either try to do a webinar, so I can just be talking to the attorneys or talking to the physicians or talking to the law enforcement military people. But we're not sure exactly how it's going to work out. We're just getting that logistically set up. But in 24 hours, you should hear from me to understand. For example, Sheriff Mack, that's one of my goals, Sheriff Mack and Dominic Izzo, who's become a great friend. Some of you may know who Dominic is. He's a retired police officer. They're going to be helping us to head up the military and the law enforcement division. And this is to educate the sheriffs and other police officers and the military as to what their oath is, reminding them of what their oath is, reminding them that inside their heart they know what's right and wrong, reminding them that if they're told to do an illegal thing or to carry out an order that is not part and parcel of our constitutional rights, that is infringing on our constitutional rights, it is their obligation to step forward and make sure that those things are not carried through. So that's the reason I'm reaching out to these specific groups, all right? So that's your third call to action, is to fill out that form. If you've already got your dashboard, then go to askdrbuttar.com/join. And remember, your invitation code is in the upper right. If you've never filled out the form, then go to askdrbuttar.com/ask. And you will have your invitation code pre-populate when you get to that point. And then jot down your own invitation code on the upper right-hand corner in yellow underneath your name on your dashboard. You'll find it there. And from that point onwards, as you pay it forward and tell everybody else and share it with your family and friends and relatives and everybody else that you want to empower with knowledge, then you're going to ask them to go to askdrbuttar.com/join and give them your invitation code, all right? Because they'll come to a point where they can't go any further and it'll block them because they don't have an invitation code. So give them your invitation code. Let's see. And then invite them to do the same thing, okay? So that's the third thing that we're talking about. Now, the fourth step, the fourth call to action. This is very important, guys. Very, very important. I want you to hold love, gratitude, and compassion in your heart for those that don't understand what's going on, for those that are on the other side of the planet, for those that are scared. Hold a place of love and compassion and gratitude for them, all right? Now, I heard something very powerful this week. I was interviewed by a musician, a great singer, and his video will be coming out soon, his interview with me, an enlightened soul. So I'll let that come out, and then you guys will hear our conversation. I had a great, great conversation. But one of the things that we discussed was about love, because people think love is an emotion, all right? Love is not an emotion. Love is the creation of everything. Now, that's a very deep thought. Think about that for a second. We think that love is an emotion, but love is actually creation. All right, so I want you to hold that place of love. If you don't know about David Hawkins' map of consciousness, I'm going to do a webinar and I'll explain all this stuff to you guys so you understand about. I'm sure most of you already understand this, okay? So if you don't understand it, you can do a Google search on it, but we'll be doing some webinars. I'm going to be announcing some webinars in the very, very near future. And I'm not even sure how we're going to accommodate it, but we probably end up having enough for like 5,000 or maybe 10,000 people for a webinar. And then, of course, you'll get the rerun. If you don't get in there on time, you'll still be able to watch the replay. But I'm going to be doing a webinar about that. So hold love, gratitude, and compassion for those that don't understand, and especially those on the other side of the planet, because they're doing the same thing from you. Wherever you are in the world, pick up a globe, look at it. So if you're in China, look in the opposite side of China. It'll probably be the US or some part of Europe, and hold those people love and gratitude and compassion for them. No matter where you are, just pick some place on the opposite side of the planet and do that. And if everybody's doing that, we're going to cover the whole earth. And also ask for support by the universal consciousness, by the source energy, by the creator, to help us in this period of transition, this period of evolution. It's all about growth, but growth is painful and it's difficult, it's awkward. All right, I know people are scared. Just remember that what's coming is going to be much better, because this is all coming to a head. All this unfairness, all these injustices, all this pitting us against each other is all coming to a head. And the beautiful thing is that once this comes to the head and it pops, just like an abscess, it drains. That's when fevers drop. That's when the pain disappears. And that's where we're coming to, guys. So we need to embrace this opportunity and recognize it for what it is. Rather than be scared of it, we need to embrace it and recognize the truth will set you free. And we are going to empower each other with knowledge. And that knowledge will make us autonomous. It will give us the power that we need. And once you've been empowered with knowledge, remember, nobody can take advantage of you. All right? So that's the fourth step. And then the fifth thing is I want to have you guys have a simple call to action, and that is the Advanced Medicine Conference. All right? AdvancedMedicineConference.com. We've decided to stream it. Get your tickets, guys. I know there were thousands and thousands, tens of thousands of people said that they would want to come from all over the world. So you can now attend it by streaming it, support this movement. But if you come to the actual conference, you're going to get a check written for you right there and then for 50% of it back as our way of saying thank you for showing up. And you're going to get the digital downloads for that, for the 2020 version. When we're done with them, you're going to get those also for free. So register at advancedmedicineconference.com. Advanced with a D, ADVANCED, medicineconference.com. This is not a medical conference, guys. We call it Advanced Medicine Conference, and there are going to be a lot of doctors there, but maybe 10% will be doctors there. But for everybody, it's actually meant for the public, so you can actually see what the advanced methodologies are of treating people. And we'll have people that are presenting from everywhere. So advancedmedicineconference.com is May 23rd, May 24th. In the morning of the 25th, we're going to have some workshops too. So come there. You'll meet myself in person, Dr. Bruce Lipton in person, and many other really, really good people. Del Bigtree will be there in person. There may be some surprise people that are going to be there. I'm hoping that I'm not going to make commitments on some people that I've just asked recently to be there, and they're working on it. But anyway, it will be a great, great opportunity for you to experience firsthand the energetic when you get like-minded people there, and you will be empowered. So if you can possibly make it any which way you can, come. Okay, the state of North Carolina is planning on opening up fully May 22nd, but I don't care if they are open or not. We're still going to have the conference. I don't care what they try to do. We are going to have the conference, and you know, it's going to be interesting to see what happens. But we're making a statement, as people have in Colorado, in Texas, in Michigan, in many places. I believe that it won't be a problem. But anyway, even if it is, you think that they're going to have any justification to close down an advanced medicine conference with some of the top doctors there that know what's going on? How are they going to justify that? So it's going to be a great, great opportunity. Please make every effort you can to be there. If you can't, then support it by getting your online virtual ticket so that you can actually watch it streaming. And it's going to be great information, guys. It's empowering information. And look for the bundle that actually has 2019. That the first annual Advanced Medicine Conference we did in Pasadena, California. You can get the digital downloads of that, and you'll get the streaming component, and it's a bundle price. It comes out to be like a 60% discount. And we were going to increase the prices, but we've decided that because of the event just being 2 weeks, we're going to keep the prices exactly where they are. So guys, get your tickets now. Do it today. Do it as soon as you can. Support the movement, and I appreciate your desire to help support in us while we are making the change the world's waiting for. But more importantly, that it's a way for you to partake in and become part of this movement, part of this tribe in making the change the world's waiting for. I appreciate you guys making the change the world's waiting for. So just in summary, if you already have created your free advanced medicine dashboard, simply go to Ask Dr. Buttar, that's askdrbuttar.com/join. And if you have not created your free dashboard where you can watch the DVDs, the COVID-19 conspiracy video series that was censored. If you have not created your free dashboard, then go to askdrbuttar.com/ask. All right. And then look to your upper right-hand corner of the dashboard, and you'll see your invitation code there, and use that to invite other people. Your action items, once you go to either one of those links, you're going to have questions that you're going to be asked. Fill that in and submit it. And your first action item is sign the petition for censorship. Second action item is put your elected officials on notice. Very important. All you need is your zip code, and it'll be taken care of. So if you're from Canada, if you're from the UK, or if you're from Australia, you won't be able to do that right now, but we are hoping that within the next couple of days, that'll be up and going. Third call to action. Create your free dashboard. Download those videos, watch those videos, empower yourself with those videos, and then download them and pass them on to everybody else, all right? And use your invitation code on the upper right-hand corner of your dashboard. Give that invitation code along with the link, askdrbuttar.com/join to everyone you know. Let them get this information directly, bless them with this information, and empower them with this information. The fourth cause of action, or fourth call to action, I should say, is hold that love, gratitude, and compassion in your heart for other people on the other side of the planet, as they will be doing for you, and ask Source Energy, ask the Creator to help support us in this period of evolution. And you will feel empowered, all right? And the last call to action is advancedmedicineconference.com. If you can be here, get your tickets and be here May 23rd, May 24th. This is a Memorial Day weekend, all right? Memorial Day weekend, very important weekend. So if you can be there, that's fantastic. You're going to get a check written out for half the cost of your conference if you can come. And if you can't come, then please support the conference. It's going to be amazing, life-changing information anyway. Get your digital, virtual attendance tickets, and we'll see you on May 23rd, May 24th there. Guys, I think that's all I have right now for you. I have not had a time to actually review the questions that have come in. There was a lot of questions, but this was the one part where people are asking about the medical board and the FDA things from some of this misinformation that was out there. So I wanted to take the opportunity to explain that to you guys. And as always, I truly cannot express to you in words adequately what it means to me when I read the thousands upon thousands of comments, and I can't get through all of them. You know, I've gotten almost scolded by my significant other when it's 3 o'clock in the morning and I'm just reading these comments and trying to answer them, and I just can't get to them all because it's literally 5, 6, 7,000 of those comments coming in some of the videos. So if I don't comment to you, I promise you the energy I feel, I can't express to you adequately in words how much it means to me. And believe me, I'm not able to do, and I would not be able to do what I'm doing if it wasn't for your prayers and your intentions and your love. So I just don't know what to say except to thank you for that. And you guys give me the power. I can feel it coming through, and it means everything to me. And I think that you guys can feel the truth. You know, I wish I could say I have all these high reasons why I'm doing what I'm doing, but I'm doing it because I love my kids and I want them to have a better life, and I want every child to have the life that they were meant to have on this planet. I want your children to be able to experience it. I want our children to have children. I want us to be able to have grandchildren. I want this time in history to be remembered that we did what was necessary in order to make the change the world was waiting for. So again, I appreciate you all being with me. And for the IADFW members, I will just give me about 5 minutes. I'm going to get something to drink, and then I'll be on. And for those of you that don't know what IADFW is, as you go through that material on that landing page as you get towards the lower end, you'll see about if you want to become a member of the IADFW. You don't have to do that. All the stuff I mentioned is completely free. But if you want to become a member of the IADFW, you can. There's a webinar there. It's about an hour and a half long. You can watch that on demand, and you can choose what you want to do. But you don't have to do that. I'm just making sure you guys understand that, all right? There's no requirement for that. All the information I shared with you, that's all free. And I will be back again next week at 8:15 or plus or minus a couple minutes, New York time. And I do this every week. So join me. I appreciate you guys joining me to make the change the world's waiting for. And for the IADFW members, give me about 5 minutes, and then we'll be coming back on. Thank you so much for joining me. God bless. Good night.